Hey, how you doing? I'm not so good at talking, but I was told I should tell you my story. My name's Joey. Joey the roofer, because I'm a roofer. Me and the guys, we work at Lucky Levi's Paint and Roofing Tiles in Capernaum, right here. My grandpa did roofs. My pops did roofs. I do roofs. I hope my kid does roofs one day. It's a family tradition, you know. Yeah, a couple of years ago, we was on a job over in Sepphoris. It's one of them fancy new cities the Romans are building, collectively called the Decapolis. We took our lunch break at a joint called Herod's Happy Hour Bar and Grill. And one of my guys, Tommy, he came back a little too happy, if you know what I mean. He had just got engaged. He was all excited about his wedding, and, well, he put back a few too many. So when we get back on the job, Tommy is kind of all wobbly, and he falls off the scaffolding. And he got hurt real bad. Couldn't move his legs no more. That killed the wedding. Tommy wished it had killed him. He has to scrape by now. He begs for coins at the main gate into Capernaum. But, hey, we're all still buds. We're still tight, you know? We all get together at one of the guys' homes every week, no matter what, to eat and talk and have fun with Tommy. But it ain't like it used to be, especially for Tommy. He feels, humiliated, I guess, whenever we have to carry him someplace. Says he feels like less than who he was. He's really down on himself for doing something stupid. And last year, during Passover, we bring him all the way to Jerusalem to go to the temple. And one of the priests there tells Tommy that God is punishing him for his sins. I don't know. Punished because you got a little too excited about your wedding coming up. Sounds a little rough on God's part, don't you think? Anyway, the reason I got asked to tell you my story is what happened this morning. Me and the boys, we hear about this Jesus guy from Nazareth. It's a podunk little village up north. You've never heard of it. But we hear he's come into town for a little while, and he's hanging out with some of these fish guys down by the shore. They say he's got a reputation for being a real smart rabbi. And he's able to fix people just by touching them and whatnot. So the guys, we decide that maybe we could bring Tommy to go see this rabbi, and maybe he could do something for Tommy's legs. So we all call in sick to work. And we head over to Tommy's choice begging spot, and we each grab a corner of his mat and tell him, we got to change our plans today, Tommy. And we run as fast as you can, carrying Tommy on a mat, over to the house where we hear this Jesus is staying. And we see immediately that our brilliant plan ain't gonna work. We're too late. There's already a couple of hundred people outside the house. Every bent over, blind, deaf, leprous, demon-possessed so-and-so in Galilee is trying to get in the front door, pushing and shoving, and everyone wants to get touched and healed by this rabbi guy. We can't get near the place. Are we ever going to get Tommy in the front door to see him? Forget about it. So we're pretty depressed. So we squeeze around to the back of the house, and we want to get away from everybody. So we climb up on the roof to get away from the crowd and try to think. And we lift Tommy up on his pallet to get up on the roof so he doesn't get stepped on by all the yahoos down there. And we try to think. And Johnny, as he is wont to do, he pops open a few cold ones to help us think. And we think. And we think. And we think a little more. And we think, if we want to be all polite and everything, and respectable like, we'll go down into the street, we'll take a number and stand in line, and maybe we'll see Jesus next Tuesday, perhaps. And then we think, if we're realistic, we should just go home. We should have got here earlier. We screwed up. Again. We do a lot of that in my gang. And now we're depressed again, and we're out of ideas again. I look up at the guys. They're not saying nothing. I look at Tommy, and he has a face of stone. I am so frustrated, and I'm so helpless, and I'm so mad that I kick one of the tiles on the roof. And it pops right out. That ain't right. So I say, pretty cruddy tile job on this roof, huh? I hope it wasn't one of our jobs. And Dee, he gets this funny look on his face, and he says, maybe we can make it our job right now. And he pulls up another tile and throws it over to the side. And then Johnny, he gets the same look on his face, and he pulls up a tile. And then I get this thing in my chest, not like pain, but like a fullness inside that says, we gotta do something big for Tommy. Maybe something reckless, maybe something stupid, but we gotta do something big. So I grab a tile and another tile, and then Marky's got this big stick, and we are attacking that roof like there is no tomorrow. We go through the tile, we go through the lathe, we go through the plaster, and we're getting sweaty and dusty in the hot sun. But when I think about stopping, I look over at Tommy, and he's almost vibrating on his pallet, looking scared and hopeless and crazed all at the same time. So we keep going. We know we're through the ceiling when the screaming starts. And I peek down through this little hole we'd made, and my eyes adjust to the dark, and I see a room full of sick, sad, desperate people, now covered in plaster and dirt. And I realize our wonderful little stunt on the roof has made their day a lot more sad and desperate. And I feel this wave of shame flood over me. I feel fear in my gut. And suddenly I don't care about Tommy or the guys or nothing. I want to climb down off the roof and run away as fast as I can. While I'm looking in that little hole, feeling terrible, I catch a glimpse of him, the rabbi, the one they call Jesus. He's the only one in the room down there standing still or sitting still. He's got plaster and sticks and bugs in his hair. But instead of rage, I see in his eyes something so deep and loving that I have to turn away. Suddenly, somehow I know with him, I don't have to run away. Without a word or even a nod, he gives me this feeling of being, I don't know, accepted? Yeah, completely accepted, completely loved, completely complete. I don't know. It's weird. And it's great. All my fear is gone. And I just feel like I need to do more. So I turn to the guys and I motion for them to make the hole bigger. And then there's more noise from downstairs. It's the owner this time. He's screaming, "My roof, my roof!" "Do not worry," I yell down. "We are professionals." And then we did it. We made the hole big enough for Tommy, and we grabbed the ropes on his stretcher, and we very gently, very slowly let him down, and everybody in the room is completely freaking out, except Jesus. He's just smiling there, like he's got some secret he ain't telling nobody. I can't remember everything that was said. But Jesus said something about Tommy's sins being forgiven, and the religious guys down there, they start yelling at him instead of yelling at us. Hey, I don't know nothing about no religion arguments. And I don't care. All I know is that when it was done, Tommy walked away from that house, healed. And you know what? I think I did too. Look, I'm not the kind of guy who likes to talk about feelings and stuff, okay? Especially my own. But I got to tell you, something happened to me this morning up on that roof. When I first looked through that hole, that we made in the roof, and that sick feeling that came over me when I thought, oh, I screwed up again. It just brought back all those things inside me that feels like I'm not good enough. I'm a disappointment to someone. It brought up every time I wanted to hide because of my shame. I remember growing up, every time I did something wrong, my grandma always pointed her bony little finger at me and said, "Joey, God sees everything you do." Tommy felt that shame all the time, especially after that priest said God broke Tommy's spine as punishment for, I don't know, something only God saw, I guess. But this Jesus, people say he's teaching us that God ain't like that. And that look he gave me, like he knew me and understood me and loved me anyway. I've never felt anything like that. If that's how God is, if God knows everything about me and understands me and loves me through it all, well, that ain't my grandma's God. And it ain't the priest's God. But if that's how God is, I want more of it. It makes me want to be more. It makes me want to be better. Oh, hey, wait a minute. I just remembered this other thing that Jesus said to Tommy. The very first thing, when he first let him down, Jesus looks at him right in the eyes and says, he calls him my child. Which I thought was kind of funny because I think they're about the same age. But I could feel what was underneath that. That his saying those two words, my child, those two words healed every mean, stupid, and thoughtless thing that anyone had ever told Tommy. Everything that made him feel like an other or an outsider, or that he was less than human. Those two words, my child, told Tommy that he was connected, that he belonged, that he was precious. I'm telling you this, even if Tommy hadn't been able to walk out of that house on his own hind legs this morning, even if we still had to carry him, he still would have been healed, whole, and human. Yeah, Tommy and me, we both got some healing this morning. For one moment, we both saw ourselves through the eyes of someone who loved us and understood us and accepted us completely. And neither of us can be the same after that. Okay, that's enough. I'm not too much for introspective yakking. I'm just Joey DeRufa. Now, if you'll excuse me, me and the boys got a roof to fix before nightfall. And this time, Tommy's gonna help. Amen.